Greetings. Today I need to discuss spirits being trapped, souls being snatched, ghosts, haunted houses, haunted cities, haunted lakes, and astral traveling. Let me start with a little history. My grandmother, who always said we were gypsy because of a lot of different things, was able to trap souls, and she actually had them trapped in the house. And the advantage of being a person who didn't go outside and play, me, who stayed in the house with her, is that I learned things that others did not learn. And so there were a lot of people who just said the house was haunted, but they did not understand why the house was haunted. They did not understand why spirits were trapped in the house, and they didn't know how it happened. And to this day, some of them don't know how it happened. Okay. Now, I want to start you with that. And there's a lot of ways that a soul can be snatched and retained in a particular location. One way that this can happen is the person can literally go prior to the actual death and actually commit that soul to them, in a sense of how you would say putting a curse, but it's not exactly that. It's literally taking the soul out of that person's body and actually causing death. Another way is a commitment, a pact that's kind of made to where that soul actually belongs to that person upon death. Another way is by some incredibly traumatic event, and that is what you see often when there are lakes that are haunted. There are spirits that are stuck in that era, that time, that place, and they are angry and they are upset and they are trapped in the injustice. And sometimes prior to their final transition, their last breath, all that person really wants is revenge, is to be able to get back at the people who did this particular injustice to them. Okay? And that traps them in that place. It's not a free death, meaning a person is ready to go to the next level. They understand that's happening. It's very traumatic. And that spirit, that energy stays there wreaking havoc on the people in that particular area. This can happen in a house. This can happen in a city, in a country, in a town. This is also why a lot of the places associated with the Salem witch trials and witch hunts were considered to be haunted. A lot of places associated with mass traumatic deaths, Holocaust, the Christian Crusades, all of those places have been considered to be haunted. A lot of places where they say there's mummies buried, people who have died and curses have been placed because there was some event, some evil thing that this person did, and that they killed that person in such a horrific act, and that person's soul is trapped, right? But there's something else that can happen, because a lot of people out here are opening up to the astral traveling and the ability to go and interact with people in another dimension while you're sleeping, sometimes in a meditative state. And that's when the essence of the person essentially leaves the body. The person is still alive, but they go other places and see other things, right? But you can go to somebody who has the ability to see that you are watching them, and also has the ability to take your essence. And a lot of people don't realize that. And that body ends up becoming unalive. So essentially the person dies in their sleep while they're astral traveling. And that person can then be trapped in another place where they're trying to get out because they are aware of the astral traveling. Now, for those of you who have astral traveled, have you ever astral traveled And now you become keenly aware of the fact that somebody is watching you watch them. So then you know what I'm talking about, right? Have you astral traveled and someone has suddenly become violent towards you? Okay. Now, why did I make this video? I made this video because I want people to be aware of what they're doing when they're all of a sudden trying to go into these other realms, right? I want people to be aware of the dangers of the other side of things. And I want people to be aware that this is not new. My grandmother learned things from her mother, and I mean, this is not new. This is just part of an awakening. And you have people who have been practicing things for far longer than you have, who have knowledge that you do not have, and who have skills that you do not have. This is no different than going into witchcraft, hoodoo, voodoo, any other entity. You need to learn about what it is that you're doing prior to doing it. Don't be fooled and just jump on the bandwagon because it's cute. It's cute right now. And then they're like, oh my God, they just died so suddenly. They were so young. No health issues, just dropped dead. Okay? So be careful. Take your time. Study. If you have someone who is knowledgeable and willing to teach you, work with that person. But don't just try to do things without having some knowledge. Be careful of the people on these apps who are telling you to do things and they're not giving you all of the details. All right. That's the end of the lesson for today. Bye.